Hello and welcome to another video. So we are quickly approaching my favorite time of year. These next 3 months, like the holiday season, are like the best months of the year. Like they're just my favorite. Like you got Halloween, you got all of fall, you got Thanksgiving, and then you have winter with the snow, and then Christmas and New Year's, and my birthday is like 2 weeks after that. So everything that I enjoy in the year is happening in the next couple of months, and I'm really excited for it. Anyways, so I'm focusing on spooky season. I wanted to make a TBR for that, but I have a lot of books that I want to read during the spooky season. Also, I've been ready for spooky season like 3 weeks ago. Instead of having like a typical month-to-month TBR, I'm having a more spooky season TBR. So this is gonna be like probably like 2 months long. Right now it's middle of September, so rest of September, all of October, probably the beginning of November. I'm gonna tell you about the books that I have planned to read within the next 2 months, and I'm really excited for it. It's way too many, but it's fine, and I'll probably even find more, so it's fine. So the first one I want to talk about is an audiobook, and I want to talk about this one first so I don't forget. I kind of already started this one, but I'm at the beginning of Coraline by Neil Gaiman, I believe his name is. I've seen the movie a good handful of times and I've never actually read the book. I'm not really sure if I want to give a description of what Coraline is because I feel like that's a pretty popular book slash story slash movie. Like I feel like a lot of people know what it is. But yeah, so I'm excited for that one. Moving on to comic books, I have Sherlock Holmes versus Dracula. I've had this for a while now. I want to say 2-3 years, maybe even 4 years. And I haven't read it yet. I don't really know what it's about, but it is fully colored, which is kind of unusual for comic books, graphic novels kind of things. Usually like the first page or so is in color and then the rest of it is in black and white, but this one, the whole thing is in color. Yeah, I don't really know what this is about, but Sherlock Holmes versus Dracula, I feel like that's enough information to go on. So I'm excited for this. Next, I have volumes 1 and 2 of The Walking Dead. This is the source material for the TV show. I watched the first 7 seasons of the show. I'm not really sure, but once the show got really popular, the quality and the writing started to go downhill, so I stopped watching it. But I still love the story and I love zombies and stuff, so I know that these go beyond the show and they also take different directions than the show. So I'm curious to see where the story goes. I have a couple categories, sort of. I guess we'll go with miscellaneous, so don't really have a category, and then we'll move into my monsters category and my paranormal ghosty category. So into the miscellaneous, I have this R.L. Stine book, which is a collection of stories. I don't exactly know how many are in here, but I love R.L. Stine. This is definitely younger than YA, probably middle grade, but I love these books. I love the stories. A couple years ago, like 7 years ago, they had this TV show. I want to say it was called The Witching Hour, but I'm not exactly sure, where each episode was a different book from the R.L. Stine collection of horror stories. And it was honestly amazing. It was like a kid's version of The Twilight Zone, and I loved it, but I haven't seen that show besides that 1 year that I watched it, and I can't find it anywhere because I don't remember the name of it. I feel like The Witching Hour is not right, but maybe. I don't know. Anyways, R.L. Stine has been dear to my heart since I was a child, and I haven't read any of the books in a really long time, so I'm probably gonna read this as part of like 24-hour readathon, or maybe I'll read some of the stories out loud to my cat. I'm sure she'll love that. Next, I have The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. This is not what you would expect for like a spooky season. Originally, I thought that it was a scary story, but it's actually more magical and whimsical. This is about a traveling circus that only pops up every couple years, I think, and I believe it's about 2 magicians that are in some kind of competition. I don't really know what this is about. All that I know from it is like, you know, from reading the back and from watching reviews on YouTube. Whimsy and magic are perfect for spooky season. Like, I don't know if it's been recent or if it was another time in like a couple years ago. You know, like how Freeform does the 30 days of Halloween, 31 days of Halloween, whatever. And they almost always have Harry Potter in there, and I was always wondering why. But I guess magic and witches and whimsy go with spooky season and Halloween. So last in the category of the miscellaneous category, I have The Cabin by Natasha Preston. This is a murder thriller kind of thing. So it's about these kids who are in a cabin and somebody is murdered, and then they realize that nobody has come or gone since the murder happened, so that the murderer is still in the cabin. Yeah, they're trying to figure out who it is, I guess. I don't know, it's a Natasha Preston and I love Natasha Preston. It's like all these like price stickers on the books. I got a lot of these used. Just the idea of like a murderer in a cabin kind of gives me those like classic scary movie vibes, and I'm hoping that this lives up to that. I don't even know if that was the intention. Looking forward to it anyways. Okay, moving on to my monsters, like my Monster Mash kind of books. So the first one I have is Rot and Ruin by Jonathan Mayberry. This is a zombie book. So from what I know, zombie apocalypse has already happened. We're already living in a situation where zombies are everywhere. And they have like a society of humans, survivors, alive people. Anyways, they have this community, and the boy, like the main character, has to do one of the jobs where he goes out and kills zombies, and it's something about finding out what humanity really is. I don't know. Then I have Cycle of the Werewolf by Stephen King. This is a illustrated novella. So instead of chapters, it goes by month. So there's like 12 chapters. And I believe it talks about like different werewolves. I'm not exactly sure what the story is, but like we'll have like little illustrations like this throughout the book. Let me just pull up another one. So yeah, this is really interesting. I know Stephen King does a ton of like short stories and novellas and stuff, but I've never actually read his shorter works, only his longer ones. Like I read Carrie and Misery, and I attempted to read The Shining and It, but those are like wicked long, so I ended up only reading like halfway through those. The last book in this category is The Last Werewolf by Glenn Duncan. This one I picked up a while ago. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what this is about. It's about a werewolf, obviously. I've said this a ton of times on my channel before, but I prefer it that way. I'd rather go into these not knowing anything so that I could be surprised and not have any kind of pre-established expectations. Moving on to my final category is my ghosty books. Most of these are YA, and I have more ghosty books than I do any of the other books because ghosts are what scare me. Like I've watched a ton of scary movies, and like slashers, I'm good. Zombies don't usually get me. It's the ghost ones, like Paranormal Activity, those got me and I was scared. So the plans with these ghosty books, not all of them obviously, but the plan for some of them is to try to scare myself, because I've never actually been scared by a ghost book before. Like I've never been scared reading a book before. First one, don't plan to get scared with, is Good Girls Don't Die by Katie Allender. This is a possession story. It's about this girl whose younger sister gets possessed. Probably gonna read this in like a 24-hour readathon because the font is pretty big and I don't really think that this would take me very long to read at all. So then I have The Turning and Other Ghost Stories by Henry James. This is another collection of short stories. The reason why I wanted to read this one is because it includes the story The Turning of the Screw, which is a movie. I believe that movie is a remake of a movie.
Sometimes I'll start a sentence and I don't even know where it's going. I just hope I find it along the way.
What I know about this is kind of like a Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson kind of situation, where it has the original story and then it has all these like movie adaptations and remakes and stuff that are nothing like the original. At least that's what I'm thinking. I don't know. It's a ghost story with a haunted house and children possession, I believe. Next I have Anna Dressed in Blood by Kendare Blake. I'm not exactly sure how to say her name. Before I even tell you what this book is about, the writing, the type is red, like maroon. I don't know if you can really see it on camera. Here's like a comparison. Yeah, it's red, and I think that's like actually amazing. And I'm also really hoping that I don't get a headache reading this because it's not as contrasting as like black ink on paper. So hopefully no headaches, because I think it's really, really cool. Anyways, so this is a ghost story. From what I know, it's like supernatural, where there's a boy and his family that hunt down supernatural creatures and kill them. And then the boy goes to this house where Anna dressed in blood is, and like the house that she haunts, and she has killed numerous people that have come into this house. And I believe she also has a curse attached to her, so he has to eliminate the problem that is Anna. So these next two books I fully 100% expect to scare me, and that is the reason why I got them. The first one is Summoning Mary by Hilary Monahan. This is about Bloody Mary, and when I was a kid, Bloody Mary was a huge thing, and I was terrified. Like, when I was a kid, I had the master bedroom in our house because of like the layout of the house and everything. So there was a bathroom in my bedroom, and I was on bunk beds. So from the top of my bunk bed, I can look directly into the bathroom and see the mirror above the sink. And I didn't have glasses in, so I couldn't see very well. So I would create shapes in that mirror, and it terrified me because all the kids at daycare were all talking about Bloody Mary, and I was scared. Anyway, so I don't really know what this book is about, except that I know it's about Bloody Mary, and I'm also like getting really stressed out the amount of times that I've said that, like the phrase in this video, and like I don't want to say it again. So yes, excited for this one, a little bit scared to read this one, will not be reading this in the dark. The last one I also fully expect to scare me is The Girl from the Well by Rin Chupeco. I don't think I'm saying that right. This is, I believe, a Japanese scary story. I don't really know much about it, except I know that it's about a ghost, and I don't know much more about that. But the reason why I'm scared is because of like the little reviews in the back. It says part The Ring, part The Grudge, part The Exorcist. I feel like everybody has that movie, that scary movie they watched when they were way too young, and it kind of scarred them for life. For me, that was The Ring. I think I was like 6 years old when I watched that movie, and I've been scarred ever since. So yeah, this is going to scare me 100%, and I'm not so sure this was a good idea anymore, but like, whatever. I love scary things, and I love to be scared, and I'm interested to see how I'm gonna feel with a book that scares me. So this is definitely a lot of books, but I do plan on doing at least one 24-hour readathon, maybe two, so I could definitely get through these books in the next 2 months. I also have other books that I'm not including here because I'm not exactly sure if I'm going to get to them. Like, I have Asylum and Sanctum. I don't remember the author of that, but those are boarding school ghost stories. I've read Asylum already. I haven't read Sanctum, but because it's been so long, I would want to reread Asylum before I get to Sanctum. That's why I didn't include that, because I don't know if I'm gonna have time for a reread when I have all these books I haven't read yet. Another contender is my best friend's Exorcism. I also don't remember the author for that, but I will, include it. I meant to borrow this from the library through like the app where I have the ebook. I meant to do that like last week, but I thought that it was too early, so I didn't do it. And then I went to do it yesterday, I think, and now I am the 4th person in line. So either I'll be able to borrow that book and read it in time for this spooky season, or I won't. It is what it is. So for the spooky season, I have a lot of fun videos planned. A Monster Mash video, trying to get scared video, talking about scary movies that I love, 24-hour readathons. Like, I'm so excited for this spooky season. Tell me in the comments what your favorite part of spooky season is. Like, I would love to hear it. I love spooky season so much. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!